let's plow ahead. Let's find an equation with given clues for our geometric sequence. Now, they actually are going to give us, in this case, the common ratio, and all we know is the eighth term. So we're going to use the basic form of an equation to then help us determine what the overall equation is, and then be able to answer questions like this is actually an example 4 where they want us to maybe find the first term, the third term, or so on. Okay, so I'll flesh all of that out for us here in this video. If we're given that the eighth term is 5 and then our common ratio is 1/2, we're going to start this problem by actually writing the general form for any geometric sequence. And then we're going to fill in the information from the clues. So we know that a sub 1, we don't know a sub 1, excuse me, but we know that we have this eighth term with this common ratio of 1/2. So really our quest is to find a sub 1, and then we would have the overall equation to be able to determine any other terms within our sequence. So inherent in this right here, this a sub 8, or the eighth term being 5, gives us a lot of information already for this equation. So in place of a sub n, we're going to write 5 because that represents the eighth term. We don't know what the first term is. We're trying to find that. They gave us the common ratio of 1/2. And this is the key part, recognition that the n value is that subscript of 8. And so we're going to put in 8 for the n value in our exponent within the equation. So now we've put in all the numerical values, leaving us just with being able to find, or needing to find, a sub 1, our unknown. So this math leads us to 5 being equal to a sub 1 times 1/2 to the 7th power. So our job is just to calculate, well, what's 1/2 to the 7th power? And then divide 5 by that. I get this really long, crazy decimal. So let's just go ahead and record this for the most part. Just to make note, we know that 5 is going to be equal to a sub 1 times this 0.0078125. Just leave that in your calculator, and then what you can do is just go 5 is going to be divided by that number then. Well, excuse me here for a sec. I'm having some technical difficulties. I'll just go ahead and type this in. 5 is going to be divided by 0.0078125, which I get as 640. So what this tells us that is that we're starting, our starting amount, rather large number in this case, being 640. You can test this by then using that common ratio of 1/2. And so what I mean by you can test it is you can either use the formula to calculate it, or you can just do the sequence. You know it's going 640 and then it's cutting in half, 320, 160, 80. Is that going to lead us into that eighth term being 5? First of all, let's write the equation because that's what we're supposed to do. So the formula ends up being a sub n is equal to, now we're saying the first term is 640. We're going to multiply by our common ratio of 1/2 to the n minus 1. Okay, well, a sub 2, if we calculated this out, would be 640 times 1/2. Put 2 in place of n. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1/2 to the 1/2, or excuse me, 1/2 to the first power, or to 1 is 1/2. So really, you're just taking 1/2 of 640 here. So this is following, sure enough, The second term should be 320. That's using the formula to calculate it, but you already know what the common ratio is, so just keep going. A3 should be, and you could calculate it or you can just write it. We know it's supposed to be half of 320. That's what our formula is doing. 160. Fourth term, 80. Fifth term. Sixth term. Seventh term. And again, this is just a checking. Does this lead us to it? And sure enough, we're going to finally end up back from our clue that the eighth term indeed is 5. That's weird. Sorry about that. So that eighth term is 5. Keep in mind, in this example, they wanted us to use the clues to write the equation. I've just vetted that process by listing everything out to make sure that it works. So that was a check. Really, all we need is that a sub n is equal to 640 times 1/2 to the n minus 1. All right. I'll see you guys in the next video. We're going to plow ahead. Lots of information in this section. There's a ton of work that they've put all in one section. That's why we decided as a group of teachers to split this section 7-4 in half. So we'll see you guys in the next video.